My father was Ron Ballard. He was in the Navy for 20 years. He was out killing people when I was coming into the world. My father had this little 8mm camera in Vietnam, and my brother just discovered the footage just a few years ago. One of the things my brother said was, "I can't believe how happy he looks." And I said the same thing, because the guy in these movies, I never knew. I never knew this young, happy guy, and neither did my brother. We never knew him as a happy person. I remember at one point my mother packing the car to leave my father, and my father came home. He was in town. He came home to find this. When I was older, I asked my mother about my father getting custody, and she believed, and again, I'll never know the truth. The only people that knew the truth were my father and mother, and they're both now passed away. But she believed that because my father was an officer in the Navy and we were living in a Navy town, that her lawyer was influenced or paid off by that. He took us, dumped us somewhere else, and then left, and he was fighting his divorce while he was in Vietnam fighting with my mother. So it had just a huge toll on all three of us kids. He was a single dude saddled with 3 kids. And so he married somebody that I think he settled for. And I know this for sure now because at his memorial, his second wife was walking around the people who had come for the service and saying, "Does anybody know who this woman is? I found her photo behind mine in Ron's wallet." And she was holding up the photo of a Vietnamese woman. And one of the guys that showed up to participate in this happened to be the guy that loaded ammunition onto my father's plane in Vietnam. And he said, "I know who she is. She's the woman that taught us Vietnamese." Well, that's the piece of the puzzle, Maybe that is why my parents had such a hard time. My father met somebody in Vietnam he fell in love with, perhaps. And the saddest part of this to me is that he pined for this woman his whole life after Vietnam. So tragic. So the military and the war and that influence on his life affected all of us. It affected my mother, it affected my brother, it affected my sister, it affected my younger half-brothers, because ultimately, he didn't really want to be with any of us. He wanted to be with this woman in Vietnam. That was his truth, and it was the military and the war that got him there to meet probably his soulmate. I don't know what happened to her. Who knows?